let people know a little bit about you, what your business is, what kind of products you build. And also, we talk a lot about transformation with creators. What is the transformation and the goal of your business, what you're trying to help people achieve?
Yeah, so all great questions. My bio is always on a constant evolution. It's always morphing into what it needs to be in any given season. As of now, and it's been this way for a while, Jonah, I'm a growth strategist and educator, and I give creative entrepreneurs, especially those who are time pressed, the tools, clarity, and flexibility to do the work that moves them. I'm passionate about this audience. This is obviously a subset of an entrepreneurial type who includes freelancers and solopreneurs, but you got like content creators, artists, letterers, painters, digital marketers, anyone who's creating things as a whole and is in business for themselves, I think would be classified as a creative entrepreneur. And then specifically those who are going through a little bit of chaos in their business, especially when it comes to being time pressed or their having lists and things. So my work involves aiming to be the straightest line between 2 points, where they are and where they're trying to go, and making the most efficient route as possible and kind of being the conduit, as well as the catalyst for getting over that hurdle and making that transition successfully. And it's a lot of work. It's a very subjective experience, it can seem. And so the challenge, I think, for all of us course creators is to find ways to systematize and create processes out of things that you are inherently a specialist on. So it's not always as easy as that could be, especially when a lot of people come to you specifically for what it is that you have to offer. Making the transition into an educator and trying to make it more accessible, trying to have a larger impact requires a strong degree of intentionality and purpose and testing and experimenting to saying, how can I make this more and more digestible? How can I, leave this breadcrumb trail so that people know what they need to know at the natural and most organic step within their journey? And so that we're respecting that. That is done through a number of things, Jonah: hybrid programs, courses of course, playbooks, guides, books, podcasting, blogging. Sometimes it involves music and just strategy and ambiance and things to really create an environment where you can cultivate and continue to feed creativity, both for myself as well as the people that I work with and the people I'm in business for.
You have a very sobering perspective on it and just very wise. You can be a specialist, but when you're trying to teach that to people in a way that many different kinds of people will understand, it's tricky. It's really do you play music? You said music?
I need to lean into that and not have guilt. So I'm an artist first and foremost. I always have been all my life. And one thing about the arts, when you're a student of the game and you appreciate the arts, like you love it in all of its forms. That includes music, that includes performance arts, that includes culinary arts. Like I could be watching a cooking show and I could think about something for the course by the way that a person describes something, or creating something that a person is going to salivate over with their eyes first before they taste it. And I'm like, I'm trying to do that with courses. Like, how do I get you to salivate over this sales page for this before you actually take the course? Man, I could go into a different tangent on that, but
I love this.
Yeah, but this is great because this is why I'm passionate about it. And this is why I bring in all of these different elements and influences from all of the arts. I often think about all of these things in the arts. And I said, well, this is a really, it's a passionate group of people and just creatives in general. But of course, creative entrepreneurs, because this is like two things that are at odds sometimes with one another, the creative and entrepreneurial side, right? We want to just create and do things, but you need to sell it. You have to figure out a way to make a living off of that so that you continue to do more of it. You have to make those two things work together to be an ultimate success and to continue that cycle, Jonah, where you can continue to do what you love doing, be paid handsomely for it, and leave the impact and fulfill like yourself in your own creativity and your own dreams as much as you're impacting the lives of others through your art. It's a pursuit that'll be like lifetime probably, and we'll never be satisfied with our work. But how do we get it to the point that we feel like it's okay to hit publish on that?
Yeah.
And that, it's good enough, and just kind of respecting the process of it all and living in that.
You touched on something we've been talking a lot about at Teachable, and just a conversation in the greater field too, which is this balance of creator versus entrepreneur. If you have to kind of choose which one you identify with a little more, do you lean in one direction, or do you think it's impossible to avoid being a little bit of both?
That's a great question. I think that entrepreneurship chooses you. You don't choose it. Like, you might be a very much a person that's kind of unemployable for a multitude of reasons, right? You could not be a person that handles rejection well, or criticism well, and so you have to design something that looks unlike any situation that you've ever been in before, because it's like either that or you go down a destructive path. So it becomes a choice, like the only choice at a certain point, but it's a choice nonetheless. That's a great question. I probably would have to say creator. That's who I've been most of my life, including through now. And creators, I feel like you had to come before entrepreneur in terms of that person probably existed first. Yeah, you have to create things that don't yet exist anyway, and then I think the entrepreneur kind of came as a result of that, as probably a form of innovation. To a certain degree, once you have produced so much value that someone is willing to exchange value to have more of you, or to have more of what it is that you have been producing.
Oh, I like that.
And so entrepreneurship, I feel like, kind of chooses you. It kind of chooses you, or it ends up feeling like the inevitable choice for your direction and it's like it's an itch that you must scratch, that you must satisfy, or you're going to be bugged by it for a while and always kind of living with regrets if you know in your soul that there's a different path forward. And secondly, I've always just been a person I'm always thinking about responsibility and accountability in one's life, and being the driver in my own life, right? Not being a passenger. If I don't like something, or I'm not going to endlessly complain about it, I'll just be like, well, I'll figure out a way to create the version of it if it doesn't exist. Like, I'm going to be ambitious in that way. Proud of that, lean all the way into it, and just like you said, enjoy the process of it. There is no failure, but to have not tried anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's always just feedback. It's always just iteration. And as we talked about earlier, like, you got to find a way to have fun with it. So that's through music or something, or through the ambiance that you create in your environment, so that you are even like, man, if everything doesn't work out, I have millions of hours of music that I could just sit and listen to and absorb. I could go learn how to play an instrument or something. There's always something else to be doing if one thing doesn't work out. So that's the wonderful thing.
Well, I love it. That's why I wanted to ask you, because even just the hints of how you think about it, it's not a one versus the other. When you go and you turn that into products, when you take the creator and you want to help people or offer the joy you have in that to other people and create a structure, and you go and build products, how do you do that? And then also, at this point in your business, what kind of products do you have, and what purpose do they serve?
Yeah, so the how, we'll answer the how before the what. I think there are good systems in place and guides, just in terms of how to kind of monetize either your knowledge or your skill set. We talking about online courses being the most evident way of doing that. It continues to be on the rise for so many reasons, for both the creators and for the students. That's largely the how, is figuring out a way to design what you envision not only your life looking like, but the impact that you want to leave after the fact. And it's always this strong element of really just living on purpose and being on purpose, and being just highly kind of self-aware in that way, and saying, well, is this in alignment with what I want to be doing? I have surveyed a lot of creative entrepreneurs. One of my surveys is asking them things that they're struggling with, and what do they secretly want the most out of their career, trying to get these insights and stuff from them. And there are these certain through lines. The big thing that I learned was impact mattered a lot to creative entrepreneurs. Actually, that was hands down the common denominator. impact means something different to every one of us. I think that like the baseline definition is like this ability to do more than you are doing, or to have it affect more people or a significant subset of people, or for a cause or something that you're passionate about than what you are currently doing. And so you always feel like you could be doing more, and you would if you could, you know, like earn a really good living doing what you love doing. Like you would do more of that. Like, how can I create a process out of this? Like, how do I make this more accessible? How do I create an easier entry point into what it is that who I'm about and what it is that I have to offer, and be always thinking about that? You're trying to be with someone or serve your audience in a way that they are supposed to grow with you, but they're entering you at all different, you know, phases of like their know, like, and trust factor when it comes to you. So you got the coldest audience that comes in with a bunch of reservations, may have spent a bunch of money on other courses and things didn't work out. And so they're like really reluctant, but they might be a creative entrepreneur. And you got people on the opposite end who just like get it immediately. They're all in. They're like, you know, they're what Pat Flynn calls like super fans and stuff. And all of those people in between. And I would say the last part of that, how you have to have an obsession. You have to be as obsessed with it. Like, and nobody can teach you that. You just have to care enough about something, right? Your passion must be super, super driven. It must come from an honest place. That's how I do it, is I create what I would have needed at that point in time, and in the way that I would have liked to receive the information. It's a person that's easy to imagine. I think all of us can do that. We can remember who we were. Yeah, that's my how of it all, is how do I be what I needed before, and kind of time travel in your mind and go the opposite direction too when you use foresight, when you are thinking about things that you want to create in the future, but creating them today for like who you already are now, even though you know that course isn't going to come out for like months from now, but you're doing work at this point. So you're always doing some level of time traveling, at least kind of in your mind with things. And I think all of us do that, even if we don't realize that. And the other part of your question was the what. You were talking about the what of it. But the products that I'm offering, hybrid programs, courses, webinars, presentations, and things. Like, I get to combine like what I love about graphic design, and then like write all of your own materials and kind of have it be in your own voice and things. So I have several products always out in many different times, because you want to be reaching people in different ways, and figuring out ways to continue to nurture them, continue to be a resource in more than one way. And it forces you to flex your muscles and helps you grow as an artist and as a creative as well too, when you can bounce around in these different contexts and platforms.
Yeah. Well, so how do you use digital downloads, whether they're ebooks or guides in your business? Do you use them for lead magnets? Do you have ones that you charge for? How do they fit into your business from a more like structural product ladder or financial standpoint? And then how do you solve a problem in such a small product? And how do you wrap your head around making something that's small and compact, but still has an impact?
Great questions. I think I'll answer the last part first. From what I've learned over the years, Jonah, is that when it comes to things such as digital downloads and lead magnets to a certain degree, depending on the transformation that you're offering, that's like the starting point of it all, is what is the result? What is the transformation that you're trying to provide? Same exact thing with courses, same exact question. You're really kind of starting there with a problem to be solved, that you are uniquely positioned to solve for someone. When it comes to the value that you're packing within it, you have to figure out, is this transformation something that is like what we call a quick win, or is this something that they're going to have to work at for a while? And is this meant to like kind of be a 50-page type of lead magnet, for instance? So the transformation should be guiding what this ends up becoming and how big that this digital download needs to become. I think in most instances, especially with the amount of information that we have out, digital downloads give you an opportunity to kind of almost be like the anti-course, even though it's meant to work in conjunction with it. In the sense of, if your course is longer with sections and lectures, perhaps a lead magnet, even as a paid digital download, should be more digestible. It should be a lower hanging fruit. That's kind of how I use it. And so I'm thinking about, okay, the value that's within it. Well, the inherent value within it is that you're going to be able to get through this quickly. It's not going to take you much time, and you're going to get the transformation in a short period of time than you would like through a course, because I'm designing it in a way that you can begin to apply it like inside of a week, sometimes within a day. Like you can consume this within 15, 30 minutes. And then I'm going to hit you with a challenge or something, or some tips so that you can begin to practice that in your life. And these things can work in tandem with your course by bundling these two together, or like it being supplemental material, right? And I think us course creators, we know that the Teachable platform has had areas in there where you can insert downloadables like within each lecture model. And so now you can take, for instance, your handouts that were available in there, package those all together, and it can become its own thing, right? You can make like the quick start version of your course even as a very very attractive like lead magnet as well. To okay, you don't have time to take this 8-week course or something. Here's the quick start version of it. Here's the version of it like when you get that new vacuum and it's like you ready to start vacuuming now. This is the version. Like you ready to apply something right now.
The manual. I'll grab the quick start.
This is it.
Yeah.
The quick start, like. And that's no new material that you have to create, actually. Like that would be, I probably will do that. And I didn't have that idea actually until just now. Like I have so many downloadables within my courses. Just put all that stuff together, create a quick start version of every course I ever created. That would be awesome. That's how I would use it personally, Jonah, as what does a digital download offer me that a course doesn't? And that would be one of the more immediate things. Like a course is not usually something that, especially a paid course, Jonah, that you can digest within a single day, process what you need to know, do your homework as a student for it, and get the transformation promise that the course is delivering, like within a single sitting. But a lead magnet could, a digital download could theoretically, either by becoming the quick start version, like we just talked about, of what a course is, or by having a higher level transformation that is a little bit more industry agnostic. And so something that you can do that is not your full course, but is perhaps like the first chapter of what your course is, or the first, lecture, kind of dives into something regarding that on a course, for instance, and you're able to provide a transformation, whereas they can say, oh, Jonah, he produced this lead magnet. He promised that this lead magnet was going to do. I did get this result. I've tested it. It worked. I'm starting to know, like, and trust this guy. Subconsciously, they're thinking that. They don't talk in those terms, but subconsciously that starts to happen. And then they say, okay, well, yeah, Jonah's somebody I can trust. Like he did what he said he was going to do. This was everything I thought it would be. That's the value of it, right? The value is in the transformation and how I think quickly that can be derived when it's in a digital download form. The opportunities for me, that was the other part of your question, Jonah. Several. It's a way to give high level, as I said, industry agnostic kind of value at a lower price point for sure, because they're more than likely always going to be lower than my course costs. Lower hanging fruit. This is less risky for you to get this than like if you don't know me that well, than to do one-on-one consulting or something like that, or coaching, right? It's a way to nurture my audience as well, like through the allure of a lower priced offer. So you're making it irresistible and something that is hard to refuse, and kind of the allure of that. I use it also as a way, Jonah, to qualify and attract leads so that I can know what it is they need more of, right? So if I have several digital downloads, what's converting the most? Why is this converting more than others? What feedback can I draw from my audience and learn that, well, man, out of 5 of these, one of these is converting 37% more than the other. Perhaps my next course should be like the organic next step for what that lead magnet was, like, because that's a hot lead magnet right there. That's a hot product. I could be going more in that direction. Also, Jonah, it's a way to test out several things at with like way less effort, I would say, and see again like what's connecting with the most people. Of course, as an additional revenue stream. That's always smart entrepreneurship. And I think any of the GOATs that you and I respect, multiple income streams for sure. I mean, it's one of the only ways to really like grow true wealth, and to be in front of people without you having to be in front of them, possibly be earning money in your sleep, like the allure of all of those. I use it in the opposite way too, as a downsell, Jonah. So you land on a high ticket offer page. That's not for you. Okay, well, maybe this will work or something for you then instead. Like maybe this will be more within your range, because either I haven't done an effective enough job, Jonah, at conveying the value of whatever whatever the upsell was or whatever is the higher ticket offer. That prospect shouldn't have seen that in their buyer's journey. And so I got to work on that a little bit. But you can always use a digital download as a downsell if something else doesn't work for a person. I've had many scenarios, Jonah, where my one-to-one stuff didn't work for people, or they wanted to push that out for months because holiday season, for instance, like we're in now. But here's some value that I could offer you at a lower price point. Obviously, the proximity to myself is going to be way different because, that's an evergreen product. That's not something that I need to touch. So I can make that lower for you and then keep that advice a little bit more high level, very digestible, but high level. When you really want the specifics, then that's when it's time to get into a course or some cohorting or something. And then finally, I use digital downloads as evergreen opportunities, right? So thinking of bundles and bonuses. How can I add more inherent value for things that I've already produced? Just like we said, I had this idea during this call with you, so I can credit you just by osmosis for helping come up with this idea of saying, well, so how can I look at a course or something I created or a blog post and say, well, can I perhaps package this up into a digital download? Can I create a series of videos or something that would work well for people that can be put into a PDF format, perhaps? To educate people, to sell your knowledge, so to speak. There's so many different ways to do it and to see what it is that people like of you and how you show up. And so I just gave you 7 or 8 ways that downloads offer me a lot of value.
But I love
man.
that, and especially the using it as a tool to test your efforts, to kind of before you just go and assume that you know what people want. Do they want it? Do they want it in that way, with that title, with that name? Now that you have a product on Teachable, do you feel there's an advantage, or do you recognize advantages to having your digital downloads in the same place as your courses or your coaching, or having it packaged together?
Yes, because my students are already on that platform, right? And that's different from your email list. These are people that have opted into your university or your school-like structure of things. So they're really looking at you, any of us course creators, Jonah, as educators, right? As leaders and stuff for them. So I like one-stop shop solutions. I like having things all in one place when that is an option. It is sensible to have a place where you got, boom, I can do my coaching here now. I got my downloads in one place, and I can do the courses. Plus, bundle all of this stuff up together in a nice, neat package way with students who have already bought in to the experience and transformations that I'm delivering. That's a wonderful thing. I don't like the burden of jumping back and forth between multiple platforms, and to be able to, you got your whole student list right now. If you wanted to offer them a bonus right now because it's the holidays or something, it's just boom, it's right there. Now it's easy to do it in that way, to offer value to your existing students as well as attract new ones into your ecosystem.
Do you enjoy or plan to utilize digital downloads more, even just from the more transactional nature? Because courses can take a lot of, if you're doing cohort or even just answering
1000%.
questions and stuff, it's it can be a lot. It can be a lifestyle you didn't predict if you just thought I'm going to be a creator.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I 1000%, because it's certain things that I like to put in that format. And it's certain ways to deliver information, and kind of the page by page process and how much information a person is seeing on each page. And then there's a design element of it, and you're kind of guiding the eye, and we're all storytellers, right? So you're still telling a story, and you hope to hold the attention. So just like you said, courses take a lot more time. I love, Jonah, starting out with the big idea, with the big transformation, and then parsing that out and milking that for all it's worth. So this high level transformation, and then you are creating all of this content around this and saying, well, okay, yeah, digital download, social media, reels, stories, blogs. is so much that you can do around that topic. This is the process for a different type of win that organically feeds into this larger one that you know that you really want. And I don't know why you're up here playing games, but I'm going to entice you. I'm going to entice you. You're not going to be able to take it. So,
I love that.
Again, we got to respect the journey. We got to respect the journey. So it's like everything you earn is just, it's always a cherry on top, because your validation and your confidence comes from the fact that you did it. It was the fact that you hit publish, even if no one shows up. But like you said at the beginning of this call, you don't want to be creating this big old course that nobody ends up wanting. That's like the wrong way to do it. So for sure, if digital downloads were available on Teachable 3 years ago, I would have went that route before creating my first course. I probably would have had 10 of those out. Now I'm coming at it from the other angle. I'll be producing digital downloads, and the first thing I'll do is be bringing the downloads in that I have elsewhere first. And then for my new ones, I'll just house them there pretty much exclusively after that point. Because again, that school atmosphere, which is a different group than your email list, because some of those people haven't got anything from you. Nor do they want to be perhaps even educated in that way. And so
that's cool. Yeah. Thank you so much, Darnell. And before we wrap up, can you just let people know where to find you? Where's the best place to follow you, continue to be involved, learn more about you?
Yeah, you can learn about me at darnellbrown.com, DARNELL, brown like the color.com. That's the place. That's my main hub. That's where you can find out about me. You can find all of my social links there as well too. I'm just trying to give you one link to leave you with. I got freebies, got courses, got playbooks, got several different ways to add transformations in your life and new results to you. So hit me up on there and check out my podcast, Bulletproof Hustle with Darnell Brown as well too. Season 2 be coming out next year. And yeah, let me help you with some growth strategies in your creative business.
Love it. Thank you so much, Darnell. We'll see you soon. Pleasure having you.